Hello YouTubers, grumpy old man here with my holster set. So this is the bigger piece. There's the one from yesterday. So I've trimmed it down, trimmed off the corners, and I marked with just a scratching tool where the edge is on the front and where it is on the back. So I know how much overlap I have for a snug fit. Now on my phone I have a stylus, so on a bungee cord. I like to put it in there too, and I like to put it beside it. So I've allowed for putting it in there and putting the phone in and giving me a bit of room. I want it to be snug, I don't want it falling out, but I don't want to be too tight. And if I'm close, too tight's not an issue because I can wet it and stretch it a bit and that'll give me what I need. And I've just got to worry about how am I going to treat the bottom. I got to make sure my ends line up this way and my holes match, which I can do on this piece first and then do it to this piece and then bring it around, look down to see I'm lined up, and mark it from the other side. And then, I'll work through both sides. So that's where I'm at now, punching the holes. So I'm going to sort out my depth or length. How much of a wonky bottom is it going to have? And I'm open right up there. And that's not an issue. It doesn't need to be really tight down there. And so what I'm going to end up with is the two curves. That's not a big deal. If I overlapped, because I have lots of room in the front, if I overlap more, lots of room in the back, if I shift it this way and put it about there, give myself a 1/4 of an inch, okay? That'll translate to allowing me to curve more of it around the front to bring it down to something like that. And I'd be happy with that. So that's probably how I'm going to lay it down when I start to punch the holes. Just catch see a little bit of thickness here, and I just catch it so it's not an issue. And that'll be my new landmark. So I'm going to shift myself, over this way a bit and take it from the back and make it fit. So to do that, I'm using a good pounding board. And I'm thinking, this is what I want. Okay. So I can go ahead and put my holes in this one first. Got a little tray with the hole punching supplies. I don't use the gripping kind pliers punch. I have ones where you can remove the tips. I do have one of the ones like that these tips also fit into. And I can change the tips, buy new tips, and keep the posts. They come in 2 different sizes. So for comparison, show you. These ones attach with a little pair of pliers work great. These ones have a pin through the center of it, and I keep the pins. Oh yeah. And then I have ones for the lacing, a single punch, or one that does a bunch of them at an angle. I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe if I pull it back. So I can do 4 at a time and they're slotted, or I can do them 1 at a time and they're straight. There's 4 at a time and they're straight. There's a bunch of them and they're thinner, depending on the size of lace I'm using. For this job, I'm going to punch and make the lace through with the lace maker. Fairly decent sized hole. I could feel it cutting into the board. There's my hole. So I know I have to be able to do the ins and the outs and the ins and the outs, so I know I end with the right number. So I'm going to back up 3 holes, tie off my lace. And you'll see that in the lacing part. There are a variety of tools for, marking a straight line and marking how far apart the holes are. Make it look like a machine has done it. And I'll wait to do the bottom till I sort out exactly where it's going to sit. So I see my line there. I gotta take my glasses off to see it myself when I get close. If I put my holes right over that line, that's pretty good. I got room for one more. Yeah. There we go. So that's where I want them. Now if I've been organized, I'd had another tool already laid out. Don't tell me where to punch my holes. I've decided I might dye the whole thing one color. Now, if I wanted to, I could line my holes up front to back. Maybe I will. In that case, I'll punch the holes through here. I have my template there, and I'll go through the whole works. So, it's always nice to have somebody to discuss this with. My late wife was my partner, so we always had somebody to bounce my crazy ideas off of. And I'm back at that situation now, using the camera. Doesn't always help, but I could just do another take. Guess I'll have to get some video editing equipment. I'll talk to Raymond about that. Control. And Fred. My tech guys. See what I need to be able to do this and edit them and put it all into one video. I didn't go through the second last one, or that one, but they're marked. So now I can just open it up. And I turn the punch to release it in the opposite direction. That would loosen the tip. Oh, I'm done with you. So there's my holes all the way through. And I've forgotten which is my front and my back. But I can tell by looking at the holes, actually. So I'm just reassuring myself that everything's going to line up. If I knew I was going to do this way, I wouldn't have cut that stitching out first, the threads. It would have held everything together. Because I just didn't want to replace this one piece. This is the original piece on the holster, and I guess I could have just replaced it with one, but this is kind of interesting. If I'm not happy with the way it works out, as my father would say, why is there never time to do a job right, but there's always time to do it over? So I know I can take the whole thing apart, build a whole new holster, and I'd have a collection of them, depending on what the next phone looks like. But this one I have used for all except my latest one, because it's just a little wider and it's in a waterproof case because, yeah, because things can get wet. So that takes care of that. Now I'm thinking, it doesn't actually. I want to go across the bottom. The same pattern. Do I want to square it or curve it? Good question. Square matches the whole thing. Curve it. Do that too, but it also reduces space at the bottom, and I didn't measure for that. So I'm going to go square. Thanks for that, folks. There we go. That's the hole punch taken care of. Making good progress, if I do say so myself. And oh, look at that. The box with the lace didn't get put away. Neither did my clamps. My clamps go onto a board with clamps. And it hangs from a hook. I have more of them hanging from the rafter. And when I get up next time, I can just put that whole thing away. Now, I'm going to go natural. Actually, I could go natural just to show people what happens. Got some suede lace, but I got some veg tan lace. Look at that. Is that almost too thick? There's some nice suede lace. I remember that piece of leather. Too wide for the holes. There's a nice piece of deerskin. I don't know. I didn't make that one. That'd be one of Catherine's. So we'll use that. See how that works. I'm taking one piece of lace, center, starting at the bottom, go to the top. Be more than enough to go through there, which will leave me with 2 little pieces. So let's back it off a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to make it so that the grain side of the lace is on the top. I may have to get another tool involved at this stage. Get these two to go through the first hole. Once I've gotten back to the other side, I'll be all right. Gotta get it to cooperate. There we go. Is that enough? Yeah, there's enough to get through. All right, so that allows me to continue on up with this guy. So that's the process. I'm going to do a few holes here, and I'm going to do a few holes up this side so I can leave it open and get my hand inside. And do that top, and then go to the top, and then I'm done. So I'll show you when it's finished. It's not like I can look over here is my finished project. So that's enough for today. And I hope you're enjoying. I am. You know, I'm on whatever they call that, you know, self-quarantine, lockdown, dropping the hump thing, you know, living out in the country, that's what we call it. Staying away from people, yeah, that's what. Anyway, take care, folks, stay safe.